mobility. The other factor is tech. Now, you've ever heard that mobility or dismobility is a big issue for poverty, right? I was reading about Factfulness, the book by the guy who did, I forgot what he did. But anyways, he talks about facts and how we don't know facts around the world. How do we affect our perception of the world by learning what actually happens in Africa? He says many people there aren't that poor. They have normal middle class lives. Of course, different than here. But he was saying that when you're poor, level 1 poverty, you have to send your kids an hour to get dirty water from the well. You have one bucket, so they have to come back, pick up some firewood along the way so you could cook. It takes a long time to do basic things, right? And once you get that extra bucket, they could do 2 buckets at a time, or you get a motorbike, then whoa, life is going to be improved. It really helps with poverty, social mobility, right? And I think one thing I realized is, mobility is a big thing, right? So why is it that I can get my passport application for our baby done in the same day when I want to do it? There's no appointments available that day. Well, the county says you could do walk-in. We drove there. It's only half an hour away. Walked in, no waiting in line, just got it done, right? But if you don't have a car, transportation's hard, maybe you can't do that. You need to go to a place that's local. But then the bigger thing I feel is tech savviness. That's a mobility form that, maybe some people don't talk about as much. The first thing is, we all understand older people many times aren't tech savvy and we feel bad for them, right? But the second thing is, some people aren't older, but they're just not tech savvy. And we should feel bad for them as well, and think about that. Let me give you an example. So I was watching these people at the library. They're asking about the passport. And they're like, oh, sorry, it's already booked out today. We don't have scheduling appointments in the future right now. It's just first come, first serve. So she's like, yeah, I really want to get my passport done. And it's like, there's so many places you get it, but does she not know about them? Because if you go to the government website, the travel.state.gov, they'll tell you places where you could get your passport done. And they can tell you that, first of all, their place list may not be complete. Because there's places you get your passport done that aren't listed there. Do they know about it? The second thing is, they may give you a link or not a link. If they don't give you a link, how do you find this stuff? Some people can't search online. They don't know. They need to click on a link. You remember AOL and they had these smart phrases or whatever keywords? People click on it. Is it because it's too hard to type a link? Nowadays with searching for stuff, if you can't Google it, doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It could mean you don't know how to find it, right? And that's the thing with workarounds and tech savviness, right? In other countries, like India, for example, you need to work around a lot of stuff just to get through life. And people have gotten used to working around, finding ways to do stuff with the government or this or that. When it's not very apparent, there's no instruction manual. We just keep on trying and figure it out eventually. Or we talk to neighbors or other people who have figured it out. But for technology stuff, how do you figure things out, right? If you want to figure out how to do your plumbing, you could watch a YouTube video or this or that, right? But if you can't even find that, right? Can't even get to the source of that information. How do you do that? Can you say, I need a passport office in Buena Park that's available? Google can't tell you that. They could give you possibly different links and you click on those, but you have to sometimes go through different steps, right? Go through one link, realize, oh, I've been calling this thing the wrong thing, right? Because sometimes I want to find this object. It's like, this is called this, right? Like a key for the, filing cabinet. Like this is called something canister locker. I don't remember what it's called. And then someone's like, that's not. It's like, oh, okay, let me search right this thing. Oh, lots more results because I was calling it by the wrong thing, right? That's a thing with tech savviness. You have to know how to find the information nowadays. And I think that's why for at least the medical field, it's good that instead of making tests about memorization, you're giving open internet. If you can find the information within a quick period of time, it's good enough as knowing it. I think that's true of most things in life. It's about how to find the information. I think there's a Osh, if you remember their Orchard Supply Hardware, they're out of business now, but there's a hardware store competing with Home Depot and such. And they said, the answers are out there. You just have to know how to find them. Unfortunately, they're gone now. You can't go there to get your answers. You need to use the internet that all of us have access to, but not all of us know how to use as well. And if you're not tech savvy, it's basically the same as you don't have a car in Southern California. Not going to get very far in life, unfortunately.